that they never wish they start in the first place. That's killing them dead. And we get them out of these sessions feeling good about themselves. And guess what? They want to do these things instead of feel like they have to do them.
Mark Patrick Seminars Tuesday, April 1st at the American Lodge and Suites Fergus Falls Conference Center. For information, go to markpatrickseminars.com.
The small SUV lineup at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls has never been better. Whether you're looking for an all-wheel drive vehicle to get you through the winter months or a vehicle to store all your goodies on a summer road trip, the Chevy Equinox and the Buick Envision have you covered. Reliable, fuel efficient, and full of safety features. Find your new vehicle today. Minnesota Motor. South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Good Thursday morning, 30 degrees and 10 after 9. Hoping everybody's having a stellar start to your day. How's it going, Mary?
It's going well. I saw pictures of some of the snow and torrential rain
down by the cities.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
I know. So a friend of mine on Facebook posted something from what looks like her back deck, and it looked like there were 4 or 5 inches piled on top, and I'm sure that they were down to no snow like we were. Mm-hmm. So, but I think it was the heavy wet stuff, wasn't it?
The heavy wet cardiac snow.
Yeah. So it's probably not going to last long, and with the temperatures that we expect over the next few days, just sit back, let God do the shoveling, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
We're talking like 60 on Monday.
I know, that's going to be great, isn't it? But I heard another weather person, this is the second one, that said might be a system coming through late next week.
I believe it.
And then I had, from that previous one that I talked about yesterday, that I don't know what they call it, but it has the ability sort of to take a long range look at weather. And it's, I guess, pretty accurate. And they had said 15th or after, expect some snow. And that kind of correlates with what I heard this morning.
When we were talking to National Weather Service with our Weather Spotter program, one of the things that we did was ask them, hey, how are you guys able to figure that out? Apparently there's a bunch of buoys and markers out in the ocean that kind of monitor incoming weather patterns, and everything just kind of, the computers figure it out between the buoys and the satellites. They figure it out, and it's bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about today, probably later in the show, in the second half, but we want to talk about that home and garden show coming up.
Oh, that's coming up on Saturday and
Sunday. So I always feel like those home and garden shows make you feel like, oh my goodness, spring is here. And don't we turn the clocks ahead this weekend?
Yes, this Saturday night.
Okay, so yeah, turn them ahead or you're going to miss church on Sunday. But anyway, that comes around, of course, yesterday, Ash Wednesday, so the beginning of Lent, and then the home and garden show. All those things make it really feel like spring and summer is just around the corner. So even despite whatever weather we might have in our future, it's still just around the corner, and it's March. You got to feel good about that. I don't know about you, but did January and February just fly by for you, or is it just me?
It flew. It really did. It was one of those things. I had a lot of things happening throughout the early part of the year, and just kind of really just buzzed by.
So people can't believe it when I say, oh my goodness, January and February go so fast for me, and even March for the most part. But we get into April, and that's where it begins to drag for me. I always say that spring is my least favorite of the 4 seasons, just because it's a little bit of hope, a little bit of 60 and 6 inches of snow, or, that kind of thing. I don't know if we'll see that this year or not. I feel like it quit snowing in Minnesota.
Yeah, I had to laugh. I was watching, I don't remember if it was a Discovery or what channel it was on, but they had the Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And he was in Minnesota doing some work with some turkeys, and he's like, yes, the Minnesotans are laughing because this is the first day of spring, and it was just pretty much a blizzard.
Oh, okay.
He's outside in a blizzard. He goes, this is the first day of spring.
Right. But, I just feel like we used to get so much snow, and we haven't seen that for so many years.
Yeah.
I don't know where we stand here in Fergus Falls, but I think this was a Fargo number that they had 20 inches of snow so far this year. That's it.
I'd be surprised if we had that much.
Yeah, maybe not. Um, I think we've used our snowblower twice.
I think I've used it 2 or 3 times.
I think I've used it twice or maybe 3 times, and 1 or 2 times was just to do the edge where I had just, pushed it over to
Yeah.
the edge with a shovel, and then I cleaned up the edge or the plow ridge. I think I've used it 3 times.
I remember when I was a little kid, my dad and I used to tag team our driveway. He would kind of push everything off to the side, and then I would have to, do the.
And then
I'd have the grain shovel and just scoop it up.
Oh, you had the
So
heavy
he'd push, and
part.
I was a kid, so I was,
Yeah, I
but-
suppose.
and I kept going, Dad, why can't we have a snowblower? You are the snowblower.
You are the snowblower.
As soon as I move out, guess what's brand new in the garage?
Brand new snowblower.
Brand new snowblower.
Oh boy, thanks, Dad. Huh? Well, lot of things happening in the news. Okay, I watched some really funny clips from the president's the joint address to Congress,
hmm
and there were some. He was quite funny, I thought, when he said, "Here, I thought we are gonna, have to bring so many extra people down to the border to help secure the border. Turns out all we needed was a new president."
Yep.
He delivered some pretty good lines, of course, none of which went over very well with the Democrats, but oh well. So anyway, yeah, well,
My favorite was, hey, he's a Kennedy. I thought that you guys over here on this side would be applauding that.
yeah, I know it. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
They were really, really ugly.
Yeah.
It should be embarrassing for them. And I just wonder, some of the things that they are so against, a lot of their constituents in the 70% don't
Are in
agree
favor,
with
yeah.
him. Right. And so you wonder when they behave like they do. And I think President Trump even said, you better be careful.
Yeah.
Remember, you've got midterm elections in 2 years. And some of the people that are your constituents, a lot of them don't agree with you.
Yep.
So I guess 2 years is a long ways down the road. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I did watch some kind of funny clips yesterday. I had people sending them to me.
Unfortunately, voters have a very short memory.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And they believe what they're told that
Yep.
day, whether it's accurate or not. So a couple of things they've had to backtrack on a little bit. One, the Supreme Court backtracked for them, and all that USAID stuff, that is kind of on hold. All of those jobs that were going to be completely eradicated, and everybody stay home
Is
from
it the
work.
jobs? I thought it was some of the stuff that they've already done that they're going to get paid for.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I mean, I could be wrong. I just heard a little bit of a
well,
news article last night.
Okay, this here's the story. The Supreme Court refused to block a lower court ruling requiring the Trump administration to release nearly $2 billion in foreign aid, allowing the funds to flow to organizations working with the State Department and the USAID. The High Court ultimately voted 5-4 against the administration. And two of the, I can't remember who it was, Amy Coney Barrett, is that her name, on the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Her and one other conservative judge voted against this.
And I think if I remember right, it was for those organizations that have already done work. Basically, it's we've done the work, we need to get paid for our work. And
Okay.
they're releasing
Allowing
the money
the
for
funds to flow to organizations working with.
Yeah.
So
And it's
maybe
it's
it's
for work they've already done.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay your bills.
Exactly. And also, President Trump did backtrack a little bit with U.S. automakers, gave him a 1-month reprieve. Now, I don't know what 1 month does.
Not much.
Probably just gives them time for them, to do a little more research and get their ducks in a row and determine whether or not that needs to
Double
go
their
forward.
orders for that month.
Well, perhaps. Anyway, They deeming Canada's efforts on halting drug and migrant flows insufficient, and that's one of the reason the 1 month reprieve on new tariffs for Canada and Mexico. The updates caused stock market fluctuations. The stock market has been crazy,
Oh yeah.
over the past week or so. Trump has signaled determination to continue with his tariff plan despite those consequences. But the White House was contacted directly by all three, the big three automakers from Detroit, saying, "Wait a second, let's tap the brakes here," and so they did.
I'm in favor of reciprocal tariffs. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of tariffing Canada and Mexico.
Right.
I mean, they're our biggest trading partners for one, and I mean, what are their tariffs against us? I mean, obviously, when we went 25%, they went 25%. But what was it before? I mean, I'm all for reciprocal tariffs. If they're like
If they're
India was charging
we
us,
charge
yep,
them.
yep.
Right.
One
I
of the things
get it.
that came out was the Indian government charges American cars. If American cars go in there, they get charged a 110% tariff. Which is absolutely ridiculous.
Right. And we've never heard so much about tariffs
Yeah.
until now, post-election.
Well, I did in school.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was not in the news every
No.
single day like it is now. But I think we're going to see some of those things go back and forth.
Yeah.
But so if you're like me, you're like, well, wait a second. Now we're hearing about all these tariffs, and I don't pretend to know everything there is to know about tariffs. And my question is, what do they hope to achieve by doing this? Well, I think the answer is twofold, and correct me if I'm wrong. But first of all, I think the main concern is this free flow of drugs across the borders. They want to stop that incoming, especially from China. And the second thing is they want Americans to take all of those things that we're importing and actually manufacture them here in our own country.
They want American fentanyl, darn it.
Exactly. But we want to have those things available to us that are made in the USA. And I think that's another hope for all of this.
It's a hope, but I don't know if I put a lot of hope in the hope.
I think, we're seeing, I know President Trump, before he lost in 2020, was gearing up to do all kinds of electronics. They were going to move a lot of, build a lot of plants to manufacture electronics here in the United States.
Did they? No.
They didn't, because he lost, and of course, then that went away. So will we see more of that? I hope so.
I know they're moving, I think iPhones are moving one plant or Apple's moving one plant from Mexico to the U.S. to avoid tariffs. But I just, there are certain things that you've got to make on the cheap, and quite honestly, it's going to be a lot cheaper in China.
Okay, so, and why is that?
Because they don't have labor laws. I've got a buddy who used to run a factory in China. He'd tell me all the safety laws. He's like, they were trying to kill themselves. OSHA doesn't exist over there.
Right. And then they get paid a lot less, I'm
They
sure.
get paid a lot less.
Right.
Yep.
Well, anyway, here's more savings coming up. The U.S. plans to sell over $8 billion in office space that is deemed non-critical to government operations. Now, how many of those offices that are government,
Well, I mean, one of the main things we got to keep an eye on is the Fergus Falls federal building.
I saw that.
They're trying to sell that too.
And that's part of this. Now that hits home, boy. That is right here.
Downtown Fergus Falls.
No, the federal courthouse being the old post office, right? Yeah. Okay. But is that the only thing that building is being used for?
I am not sure, but yeah, it is a federal courthouse, and that federal courthouse is used.
Okay, so here's my question, a couple of questions. How did Fergus Falls become the location for federal court?
We've had a federal courthouse forever, yeah.
Okay, so another question is, could that federal courtroom, could Could they use a courtroom that's already at the courthouse?
You've never seen the court schedule.
No, that's true.
I've seen the court schedule. It'd be like good luck.
Because you can't.
You'd have to build on, because those courtrooms are used constantly throughout the day.
It is kind of sad, though, that big old building. I was sad that it's not the post office.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it as a post office.
I did too. And granted, it wasn't accessible for everyone. A lot of steps to get up to the post office. That I can see not working very well. But that post office was such a great
beautiful building.
And is that all that is on the upper level? Is just
as far as I know, yeah, it just holds the federal court where it's got the courthouses.
So it looks like they're trying to close that too. So you feel like all these stories that we're reading and hearing in the news, being somewhere else, New York and Chicago and L.A. and wherever. But we're talking about a federal building right here in Fergus Falls.
They're also trying to sell the federal building in Fargo, I want to say.
Okay. Well, the Public Building Service will dispose of 440 outdated assets, seeking suggestions on optimal usage. Interested parties can submit plans with 320 buildings already listed up for sale. So, would somebody, I don't know, can we buy it and rent it to the federal government? Just the top.
Buy it, rent it to the top to the federal government, and hey, we're always looking for a bigger building for the station. Let's go downtown.
Yeah, maybe we go back downtown, right? But anyway, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from cutting vital medical research funding. The policy aimed to cap indirect costs at 15%, but there was a judge that issued a preliminary injunction to halt the cuts, citing potential harm to patients, job losses, in irreparable harm to research institutions. So I think we're just going to see a lot more cutting. On the chopping block today, Department of Education.
Ooh.
That is his next deal. And what Trump wants to do is take the Department of Education and dismantle it and let the state handle their education, in which case we are still screwed in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Anyway, as long as we have this governor anyway. All right, coming up on 9:30, break for some markets. And we're going to talk home and garden show and lots more when we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
When you're considering a memorial to commemorate a loved one, you'll likely have questions, and that's why I'm here. I'm Jessica with the Fergus Falls Monument Company, the person you'll probably see or talk to when you come in or call. I'm here to help answer your questions, and I'll show you where your memorial at Fergus Falls Monument is designed and created, right here locally, because that matters. When you're ready to consider a memorial, call or visit us online at Fergus Falls Monument Company. Memorials that matter.
KBRF presents Where to Eat, the culinary adventure, sponsored by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food in Fergus Falls.
Hi, I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm Dave Bishop, your guides to the region's culinary treasures.
Join us as we explore various restaurants, uncover delicious meals, and highlight each restaurant's signature dish.
Experience diverse cuisine types, unique atmospheres, and must-try dishes. Check it out on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app.
New episodes air every first Friday of the month. Where to Eat, powered by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food of Fergus Falls.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease! It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Winter weather can change quickly and can be hazardous. Listen to News Talk 1250 KBRF for the latest weather-related postponements and cancellations. Brought to you by Buyer Towing and Transport, Northwest Tire, and Ugstead Plumbing and Heating. Schools, businesses, churches, and events. You can find postponements and cancellations on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app. weather-related announcements brought to you by Ugstead Plumbing and Heating, Northwest Tire, and Buyer Towing and Transport.
KBRFradio.com is your online home for News Talk 1250 KBRF. You'll find the latest in local and national news, plus sports, and you can podcast or stream live. That's at KBRFradio.com.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning, market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets. We are trading a bit firmer here this morning. Right now we're seeing soybeans 6 to 11 higher. Corn is a fraction to 6 higher. Wheat 3 to 6 higher here as well. Corn Belt marketing analyst Tyler Endress says the grains just continue to trace the headlines.
Obviously, there's a lot of headline news that the market's trading right now, with things like tariffs being on the forefront of everybody's minds, and if there is any sort of deal brokered on that, or exemptions for any feed grains into Mexico or different things like that, this market's going to trade it. And so maybe that's what we saw recently, and the headline hasn't hit yet, but it's just interesting to watch this market capitulate back and forth based on headlines currently.
The livestock market remaining two-sided and volatile.
Cattle market has obviously been a volatile two-sided trade here. Just a lot of headline risk. It felt like we had finally kind of worked through the screwworm situation coming in from Mexico, and that maybe imports would get better. And then the tariff news came back out. There was another move higher in feeder cattle, especially the cash cattle and the live cattle. They did not follow this time the feeder cattle market as much.
You're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
It's time for the Minnesota Beef Update with Minnesota Beef CEO Kelly Schmidt. The Minnesota Beef Council annual report will be in the mail within the next few weeks.
It's an annual report that we make sure we deliver to all checkoff paying producers, and it's available on our website. It's our way of just showing what we're doing to let producers know all the good programming that we're doing to make sure we're growing demand for beef and the things we're doing. Our audited financials are also in there. And so this is something that we are required to do and do every year. And we just wanted to make sure people knew that was going to be out there. If you're not on our communications list or you don't receive one of those in the mail and would like to, please let us know. Call us at the office. We have a producer list that gets our communication, or you can always find those on our website, mnbeef.org.
The Beef Update brought to you by the Minnesota Beef Council and Minnesota State Cattlemen's Association.
The Red River Farm Network is reporting on the happenings in Bismarck with the North Dakota Legislative Report. Each Friday morning at 6:37, you'll hear from lawmakers and ag leaders. This special coverage made possible by NDFB, Ag Country Farm Credit Services, North Dakota Grain Growers Association, Northern Pulse Growers Association, North Dakota Farmers Union, and the North Dakota Corn Growers Association. The North Dakota Legislative Report, Fridays on the Red River Farm Network.
World Weather Incorporated senior meteorologist Drew Lerner is your trusted source for agricultural weather. From the Northern Plains,
we do expect some showers to develop and a couple of thunderstorms. The majority of the meaningful rain, though, is going to be in southern Canada.
To South America,
Buenos Aires, La Pampa, and Cordoba, but it doesn't occur until we get into next week, leaving plenty of time for changes in the forecast.
Drew Lerner, only on the Red River Farm Network. We're reporting agriculture's business.
May wheat Minneapolis, 2 cents higher, $5.90. Chicago May wheat's up 3 1/4, $5.51.5. Kansas City May wheat 4 3/4 higher, $5.61 3/4. May corn 4 1/2 higher, $4.60.5. December corn's unchanged, $4.46 3/4. May soybeans 9 1/4 higher, $10.21. November soybeans 5 1/4 higher, $10.14 3/4. In Winnipeg, May canola 4.50 a metric ton higher, $6.37 even Canadian. April live cattle down $1.70, $194.85. August is down $1.20. April feeder cattle down $1.55 at $274.52. August down 95 cents. April lean hogs are $1.27 higher at $85.97. May up $1.37. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Doth thou wisheth to save money? At FergusFallsDeals.com, we've got a whole lot of new savings, including certificates for home and garden. So much more and great savings at low prices, like Atlas Outdoor Services, Flour Mill, and Beyond the Mitered Corners. Log on to set up an account now. It's that easy. Check it out and start saving money today at FergusFallsDeals.com.
Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
Newstalk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. It is a 9:36. Checking that all-encompassing forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Going to be a very decent day today, but wow, we just keep getting better. For today, topping out around 34, 19 for our low of 42 for Friday's high, 47 Saturday, 56 on Sunday. Mary, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
62 on Monday, 40 Tuesday, 46 on Wednesday. So that
So
Monday.
enjoy Monday.
Oh, yeah.
I get my flip-flops for a day. I'm going to do it, too.
You should.
I'm going to.
We can actually show your flip-flops on TV now.
Okay. Boy, I better be barefoot on Monday. I hope I remember.
It is 30 degrees right now in Fergus Falls. Morning Talk brought to you this morning and every morning by our friends over at Pioneer Care and at Fergus Falls Monument.
Okay, so let's talk about spring and summer. What are some of the things for you that make you feel like, oh, it's just about here? The things that happen or that you see in stores, or what are some, just kind of an inkling that it's around the corner?
When people start rolling out their barbecues and their smokers a little bit closer to the front of the store. But
Sure.
I mean, I shop at Fleet Farm all the time, and that's there all the time.
So the patio furniture is out.
The patio furniture.
I have a favorite patio chair, and it's one of those Adirondack, the plastic ones. But this one sits up a little straighter. It's not and it's higher. It's like normal chair height. It's not the kind where you have to go way practically down to the ground, and then you're sitting like this, And I just don't love those chairs.
I had a grand design. I was going to make my own Adirondack chairs, and this one, the setup I had was kind of they can fold up when you're done with them. So I was going to make a handful of those. I bought the pattern. I bought the hardware.
They sound heavy.
And it just didn't work.
It didn't work.
I needed a little bit better jigsaw blade, and because it kept bending, and I tried to use different lumber, more heavy duty lumber than I should have, and it just
didn't work.
It was a failure, and I still have all the lumber.
It was a good idea, but so I think if I had to design a chair, I love the look of an Adirondack chair. I love how, once you get in them, they're comfortable if you just want to veg. But when you're trying to visit with a group of people and you're laying back like you're tipped back, I don't know, they don't work very well for me. So this is like if I would have designed an Adirondack chair, this is the chair I would have designed, and someone did it for me, so I don't have to. Anyway, I found them at Fleet Farm a number of years ago. And so every year I go and buy a couple, thinking, because we use a lot of chairs at the lake. We have a lot of company. And I think now, I have like a dozen, so I probably don't need to stack any more chairs. But they would only be available like this time. And other people must have loved them as much as
Do they
me
go fast?
because they go so fast that if I saw them, even if it was end of February, 1st of March, I grabbed a couple because I knew it might be my only opportunity. They also, the first year I started buying them, were $17, and now I think they're $29.
Ooh.
I know. So
My problem with the Enterotic chairs is, like you said, you can lean back. If I'm having a conversation, I think this is a holdover. I grew up playing in band, and they always taught you to sit forward on your chair.
Oh, yeah, and you can't in those
And
because
you-
you
and you
slide to
can't.
the back. The seat
Yep.
is angled
And even as I'm sitting here, I'm always seated forward in the chair
on the
while I'm
edge
talking.
of your chair.
And so it's funny if
It
you
could be my riveting conversation that's
Well,
keeping you on the edge
it
of your
could be,
chair.
but I mean when I interview people as
Could be.
well. But it's kind of funny though because when I lean back, I'm basically almost laying backwards
I know.
because my butt is so far,
far
forward.
forward.
That when I
Right,
lean back
gotcha.
to the back of the chair, it looks kind of funny.
Yeah, and it's another one of those at this age, it's harder to get out of those Adirondack chairs too. But this one, the seat is flat. It's not angled at all. I think it said it holds 350 pounds.
Oh, nice.
So I can have a few more desserts, before that, I
I
outgrow
think
my
you
chair.
can have a lot of
Yeah.
desserts before you need to worry
Yeah.
about that.
So anyway, so when I see those come out, that is how I know that spring is coming because my favorite chair is out there and for sale.
Well, that's a
Two colors, by the way.
good way to look at it.
I know. And the other thing, I mentioned a couple of them earlier, when the Lenten season begins.
Yep.
When we turn our clocks ahead is another
Yeah.
one.
Well, you got yesterday and you got this Saturday night,
That's right.
Flash Wednesday, and then
Yep.
coming up
Yep.
here.
And so those things always make me feel like, oh, it's just about here. Of course, there's all kinds of Easter candy out in the store shelves right now. I think Easter candy is some of my favorite candy.
Well, I mean, because obviously you got Reese's. You get the Reese's eggs.
Reese's eggs.
I think the Reese's egg is like the perfect amount of chocolate and
totally
peanut butter. That formation.
I totally agree.
Absolutely
But the full
works.
size one.
Yeah, you got to get the
Yeah,
full size one.
yeah.
You get the small ones. It's just like
Yeah,
it's
hardly
like you
a taste
tried.
of peanut butter. I
It's
know.
like getting one of those soccer participation trophies. It tried. It did a good job, but it wasn't quite the winner.
That's a good description.
Speaking of Reese's, I have picked up for Jen. Jen loves
Oh.
lava cakes. Those
Okay.
little, the real dark chocolatey chocolate cakes.
Okay.
There's a Reese's lava cake. Or a lava cake Reese's.
You're kidding.
No.
I've never seen. Where do you like lava cake? Is
It's like a Reese's, but it's got a little layer in it. I'm not a big lava cake fan, so I've never eaten it, but I've picked it up for Jen a couple times.
Oh,
because she's
okay.
still homebound, and so when I've been doing the shopping, I know they have them at Walmart, so
Okay.
I'll just kind of grab them. I think they have them at Service,
Okay.
but usually when I go to Service, I don't really look at the candy. I'm just, I got my stuff. I
know, and you know where everything is. That's what I love about that.
That's a big thing about Service food. You know where everything
I
is.
love that too.
I go to Walmart. It's like I have no idea where
I
anything
am
is.
so
I
lost.
just
Well, okay, so here's my beef. I went there one day after they remodeled everything
Yeah.
at Walmart, and I was looking for a certain kind of like body lotion.
Yep.
I found lotion in 3 different
Mm-hmm.
places in the store, not even close to one another. Now, why would not all of the lotion be in the same place?
I
So I had to be directed
yeah.
by somebody 3 times to get to the bottle of lotion that I was looking for. I think that's ridiculous.
I actually gave up on my shopping list the other day and just went, I know where the stuff is at Service.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, I had a bunch of stuff that I needed to get at Walmart that I couldn't get at Service.
But I told you my story about
Yeah.
looking for, what was I looking for? A certain kind of, it had to do with coffee. And I don't know if I can't remember if I was looking for a certain kind or brand but when I asked, I said something about coffee, and he looked at me and rolled his eyes, like a 20-something kid who worked there, and said, check the coffee aisle. And I thought, well, I didn't think it, I said it. Well, thank you so much for being so helpful. Now tell me where the coffee aisle is. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just a jerk,
I've had to ask a couple times, and they've been fair. The ones for me have been polite, I guess. Hey, where did you guys move X or whatever it is?
Well, that's what I thought. Everything is scat. It's like they threw it up, and wherever it landed, that's where it went in the store.
Yeah, that's why I kind of abandoned a lot of my shopping there. And if I know where it is at Fleet or if I know where it is at Service, I just kind of go, well, I
Oh
get
my
the rest
gosh,
of
so
the
much
there.
easier. Yes, absolutely. And then supporting our locally owned stores as well. So I love that.
Hey, speaking of locally owned, we're going to have a lot of locally owned businesses at our Home and
Yes.
Garden Show this weekend at the Big Wood Event Center. It's going to
Okay.
be fun. It's going to be from 10 to 4 on Saturday and then 11 to 3 on Sunday. So 2 big days at the Big Wood. It's going to be an absolute blast. I know a lot of big
Swag
vendors.
bags are full of good stuff too, right?
The swag bags are full of stuff. We've
Okay.
got, and I know this because, put the camera on me on this one. I know this because we've got everything over there.
Oh, I got to
Because-
go look.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. Mary, talk a little bit about it, and I'll go grab some of the stuff.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, we are looking forward to that because the Home and Garden Show lets you take a look at maybe you're thinking of remodeling your kitchen or your bathroom, or maybe you're going to put a patio in the backyard. Maybe you'd like to build a deck. You just need, I don't know, a new countertop or whatever it is you need, whether it's indoors or out. There will be people at the Home and Garden Show that will be able to help you with whatever project you've got going on. And even if it's just to answer a few questions that you might have, might be a good place for you to get started if you have a project in your head. If you're like me and you think of something today, you want it done tomorrow, maybe you can make appointments when you are there and say, hey, I want this done in the backyard. How soon can you start? That kind of thing. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it will definitely make you feel like spring and summer is actually just around the corner.
It is, and I've got some of the swag. I only grabbed a handful of stuff. Some of the boxes haven't been opened, so
Okay, well let's
can't
see.
grab
I
them
haven't seen any of the stuff yet.
Well, we've got from Vector Windows. We've got this really cool lamp.
Ooh, love it.
Yes, it's got the batteries inside. The batteries are kind of wrapped up, so that's why it doesn't pop on when you first open it.
Okay.
So you got to unscrew this, and then. But yeah, super cool lamp.
So and it condenses into a pretty. Oh my goodness, very small. Could keep it in your car. You could.
I like my thought on it is keep it in your basement in case there is a storm.
Or maybe on every floor. Maybe have multiples and keep them in, the closet where you.
Well, you're only going to get one.
Well, no, but I mean, you can.
Have
You
multiple
probably
people
could.
go.
You could, and you could find. You probably could find out where they got them and maybe buy some extras for yourself. Just a cool thing.
We got a pizza cutter from Uxted Plumbing.
Never too many pizza cutters.
No.
They walk away somehow.
This is kind of cool. It's from Jesse Shield, and it is a measuring spoon that is adjustable.
Oh, so you just slide it in and out,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Kind of hard to do with it still in the package, but you kind of adjust.
So all of your measurements are in one thing.
Tablespoon, teaspoon.
Oh,
it's
that's
all
great.
you just kind of shift that up and down like that.
Yep, those are handy.
That is
One piece
awesome.
instead of 5 or whatever it is.
And then we've got a nice little a rain gauge from Leaf Filter. So just some of the swag. Like I said, I didn't grab it all. I should have opened boxes at the bottom of the hour break, but I didn't.
Oh well.
That's just some of the cool stuff you're going to get with the Home and Garden Show. I mean,
Okay.
it's going to be an awesome time over at the Big Wood Event Center, and I know people might be thinking, "Hey, how can I go?" Well, you can go on us. Just give us a call right now, 218-321-1926, 218-321-1926, and we'll give away a pair of tickets, and hit a couple buttons so they can be on the air with us.
Okay, that sounds good.
And who do we have here today?
This is Phyllis.
Hey, Phyllis. Well, congratulations. I think you're going to have some fun at the show this weekend.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And Phyllis, what is spring? I mean, what is the thing that you see and you go, "Hey, it's springtime"?
I think it's Lent, actually.
Yeah, I know. I always say
I
that
would agree
too.
with that.
When Lent begins, I feel like spring is here or just around the corner anyway.
And of course, sunshine and the snow melting. you know.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think you'll enjoy yourself at the show this weekend. And are you planning any spring projects or anything around your house, or just going to do some browsing around?
Just some browsing.
Yeah, well, that's always fun. You might come away with an idea in your head for a project after you've been there.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Phyllis, why don't you
hold on for a few seconds.
yeah,
I need to get
Dave
some
will get some
information from you,
information
and
from
we'll see you over at the Home and Garden Show here this Saturday, Friday, or this Saturday or
okay.
Sunday.
All right. Sounds
So
good.
hold on, Phyllis.
All right. Well, anyway, I think that'll be a lot of fun, and I know it's kind of like for those of you who like to go on Pinterest or go through a home remodeling magazine or even just social media. A lot of things pop up, and then you see an idea and you think, oh gosh, I could do that in my kitchen. And then if you're like me, it just starts turning in your head, and you want to charge ahead and get all the things and the people to put those things in place and to get that job done. Sometimes, and sometimes it's just a very small project that can make you feel a little bit different about your house or your garden, or maybe it's an outdoor space. Maybe one of those fire pits, or the fire table. I mean, there's so many things that in Minnesota that we can really enjoy, and not only this time of year, but all year. We have, and this year and last year were good because it was so mild.
Early, yeah.
But we have one of those fire tables, and typically we used to put it away in the winter. But the last 2 seasons, we thought, oh, it's out in the rain and weather all summer. So what's the difference if it sits out with a cover on it and gets a little snow piled on top of it? And so we left it out, and there have been so many evenings that we've actually turned on the fire and sat out there. It feels kind of good.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think people will get some good ideas and maybe just get some answers to questions that they might have. So lots of different vendors, right?
A lot of different vendors. It is going to be a fun time. Hope to see everybody there. It is the Fergus Home and Garden, or Fergus Home and Hardware, Fergus Falls Garden Show, Home and Garden Show. So it's going to be a fun time. Big shout out, like I said, to Fergus Home and Hardware doing the title sponsorship. I know when we were talking earlier about barbecuing and smoking, and they have a lineup of rubs and sauces from Meat Church, which is one of my favorite places that does rubs and such. But they also have a lot of Meat Church's videos have, it's called the W sauce. It's Worcestershire sauce, but W sauce is the brand of it. And it's like the only place around here, I think, that carries it. It's the only place I've seen it.
Okay.
And it is, I'm used to Lee and Perrin's Worcestershire.
Okay.
But wow, that W sauce.
Okay,
that's
well,
good.
Seasonings are a really big deal.
It's a huge deal. I mean,
And,
especially when you're cooking.
even we've received and given seasonings as gifts even.
Yep.
Because if you know somebody like you who likes to do a lot of smoking and cooking and barbecuing, you need those seasonings. We've got a 14, almost 15-year-old grandson who loves to, well, first of all, he loves to hunt and fish, and then he loves to cook whatever he catches or kills. And so him and his buddies have gotten it. We've gotten him seasoning at Christmas time as gifts because he just loves that. And he's got his own cast iron pan that they take along everywhere, and it's all seasoned, for whatever he's cooking. And
proper seasoning is huge.
Yeah. So, and I know that John, for gifts, Father's Day and even Christmas, has gotten seasonings, and it's such a useful gift. First of all, it's something that you can use it till the end, and then you toss the bottle. It's practical, especially for somebody who loves to cook. So anyway, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. How about a couple of trivia questions before we wrap up for the week?
Let's bring on the trivia.
Okay. Let's see. What Samoyed, or a Samoyed is what kind of animal? Oh, for heaven's sakes. Why couldn't I answer these?
I don't know what a Samoyed is. So
You don't?
No, I'm going to have to guess.
Oh.
A clam?
No, it's a dog. Samoyed? Oh.
I'm not a dog person.
You're not. You're clearly. Okay, how about this one? I think you'll have this one.
Okay.
What breed of dog is Lassie?
Oh, that's a collie, border collie.
Yeah, collie. Yeah. Okay. So I thought, God darn it, I wish you had been asking me today.
I had no idea what a Samoyed is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I should have went with dog or cat when he said it was easy. Both one of those 3 letters.
Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see what else. I like to talk about the food that's new. Taco Bell is revealing salted caramel and toffee cream empanadas.
I will.
What is an empanada? Is that
I need to try one of those.
Is that a dessert deal?
They can be, yeah.
Okay,
It's kind of like think of a pot sticker, but Mexican.
Okay, the delectable dessert has no release date just yet, but they're also going to include toasted cheddar street chalupas, queso crisp tacos with a cheese shell. Yum.
Oh, that will definitely need to be tried for science.
Yes. But anyway.
I will walk there and back for the simple
Yeah.
fact I would get some exercise and burn off some of those calories.
Salted caramel and toffee cream empanadas. I don't know what that is or looks like, but I think it sounds like we should try it.
You can send Derek over there during the show.
Yes. Bananas Foster pancakes is the pancake of the month at IHOP. That sounds awful to me. I don't like banana. So I would not be in for that.
I like fresh banana, but I don't like banana flavored things.
It is made with real buttermilk pancakes, sliced bananas Foster sauce, whatever that is, and whipped topping. It sounds like tooth decay on a fork.
Just get a banana. Or just get a.
Doesn't it sound sweet? Oof, duh.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Dunkin' brings back pistachio coffee and the Dunka latte. Ugh.
I like pistachios, but I don't think I'd like pistachio coffee. Do you know why?
That would.
Because I like my coffee to taste like coffee.
I know, I do too. In fact, once in a while, I like to go for a great cup of coffee. I love to go to Outstate Brewing because, you can sit down and right by the river and have coffee.
Beautiful location.
Oh, it's such a great location. Fun place to meet people. And they always have like a special, kind of fluffy drink.
Yep.
But I always ask, okay, that sounds really good to me, but can you make it taste more like coffee than the fluff? And they know how to do that. So that's what I always ask for. I want to try this, but I really want bold coffee taste. And then they make it just the way I want it. So
You want to know one of the greatest cruelties in life?
What is that? Adding a flavor to a cappuccino.
No,
Okay.
it's the dark roast coffee has less caffeine than light roast coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Light roast coffee is not for me.
No, it tastes awful.
I think so too.
So I like to think that my bold coffee, my French roast,
That you're
my
really
Italian
getting
roast,
caffeine and not
No.
so much. I don't care about the caffeine.
I like the taste.
Me too. And bolder is better.
I mean,
right?
I need the caffeine, but I like the taste.
Do you know, I'm not even sure if I need it because I never go without it. So if I took a day off, I might say, oh gosh, yeah, I need that.
I
But-
did a year away from caffeine.
Really?
Yep, I did a full year, and it really messed up my sleep schedule. I remember I had to call into the station. Charlie Camp was working. I called Charlie, and he's like, "Dave, what are you doing up at this hour?" I'm like, I
Too much coffee.
I went to bed early at like 9 and got up at like 6. And
Yeah, well, I am in kind of a not so great rut where I'm drinking a lot of coffee even in the mid to late afternoon, and I should never do that. But somebody makes a fresh pot of coffee and that smell.
Oh,
you gotta have some. You just do. Anyway, and every time I'm sitting with my mom and I'm like, can I get you a cup of coffee? And then of course I have one too.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Coming up on 10, that's going to wrap up another week. And hopefully you have a great weekend. Enjoy some of this nice weather. Thank you for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Have a great weekend.